Okay, and yes, it is recording. Welcome to my home studio. Space is a little cramped, so I'm going to do my best to lead you through with my words and my body, making my way around furniture and kids if they appear, as I'm sure you'll be doing the same thing. If you have a yoga mat, that's great. If not, towel, blanket, anything will do. Again, if you have a strap, wonderful. If you don't, a pair of socks or a tie and a block is a great idea, but not necessary. We'll just make do with what we've got and where we're at. So come on in and settle down with me for a little bit, and we'll have some yoga time together. I want you to either lie down on your mat or come into your most comfortable seated position and supporting it as you need to. You can support under the edges of your hips or even a block or a blanket just placed underneath of your buttocks if you're in seated. And if you're lying down, if your lower back is tender at all, just bend your knees. Walk your feet in towards your buttocks and let your knees gently knock toward each other. I want you just to take a couple of really deep cleansing breaths. Just exaggerate your inhalation on the way in. And exhale with a sigh. Just let it go. Take another really deep breath in, like you are gathering up all of the parts of you right into this moment, here and now. And just exhaling, sighing yourself into your space. And taking one more really deep breath in, fill all the way up to the top, gather up all the woulds and the shoulds and the coulds, and let that shit go too. And taking a moment to notice where your body is in space. So feel the parts of your body that are in contact with the ground beneath you. And let your bones kind of settle in a little bit more deeply. Notice any physical sensations that are coming up for you, ones that were obvious maybe that you woke up with this morning, ones that have accumulated throughout your day, old stories, new stories. And practice not getting too attached to any of it. And your body is telling a story, and that's going to change with every breath that you take. And starting to settle a little bit more deeply into your breath. And if you're feeling a little less than connected to yourself today, not quite grounded in your body, sometimes connecting on a physical level can help us to strengthen that mind-body connection. You can bring a hand to your upper chest and one hand kind of just below your rib cage, above your belly. And I want you just to smooth out the effort of your breath. Just inhaling and exhaling through your nostrils. Just finding an even, easy, steady rhythm and flow with your breath first. And as you inhale, take your breath so deeply down to the bottoms of your lungs that your belly rises and your rib cage starts to expand and the top of your chest might even lift a little bit. And as you exhale smoothly out through your nostrils, chest lowers and rib cage softens and belly lowers. And slowly and sweetly beginning to exaggerate length of your inhalation and the duration of your exhalations. Just taking 2 more full deep breaths in this manner. Inhale as deeply and as sweetly as you possibly can. And exhale fully and completely, every last drop of breath. As you come back to the even, steady rhythm and flow of your breath, take a moment to bring your hands into your heart space, or even into Namaste. Taking a moment to set a really clear intention and focus for your practice to help keep you grounded, to help keep you steady, to give you an anchor to keep coming back to every time your brain trips the wire, as it will. And if you're not sure of an intention to set, just set the intention to be here now, fully and completely. And when you're ready, just making your way up into a seated position if you're not there already. We're going to make our way right onto all fours, placing your hands underneath of your shoulders and knees as directly underneath of your hips as you can. And spread your fingers wide. Place a little bit more weight into the base of your index finger and a little softer into your thumb. See if you can kind of sink down through the front of your ankles and begin to bring in the deep Ujjayi breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And as you inhale again, beginning to arch your back, drawing your gaze forward and up. And as you exhale, curling back into yourself, just like a little fiddlehead. Beginning to move with your breath, inhaling, lengthening as you arch your back, drawing your hips up and chest forward. And as you exhale, curl your chin back in towards your chest, rounding your back, drawing your belly in towards your spine. And just keep moving with the rhythm of your breath. Remember, if there's a movement in here that feels really good for you, take a moment and pause with it. If you're feeling a lot of tension in your neck and your shoulders, take a moment to pause like me, here, in your cat pose, drawing belly inward. You can shift your weight forward slightly into your shoulders and allow your head to hang really heavy. Taking 2 more full breaths in cat and cow. Last one. And just pressing back into a nice soft child's pose. If your lower back is tender, keep your knees together. And if it's not so tender, you can open your knees up a little bit wider and allowing your forehead to come down to the ground. Again, if it doesn't reach easily, stack your fists, one on top of the other, and let your head rest down. Taking 1 more full breath here. Fill up your whole back body with breath. And let it go. Making your way back to all fours. And you see if you can curl your toes under. Bringing your right hand in front of your left and gripping the floor like you're Spider-Man. With an exhalation, draw your hips back towards your heels. Let your head rest down. You can even peek underneath of your right armpit and kind of shift your weight more deeply into the right side. Take one more full breath here. Making your way back to all fours and switching sides. What we do to one side, we lovingly do to the other. Bring your left hand in front of your right. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, drawing your hips back towards your heels. Again, let your head go heavy. You can peek underneath of your left armpit and shift your weight slightly into the left side of your body. Take one more really deep breath here. Making your way back into a neutral position. And take a couple more cats and cows. Inhaling, arching, and exhaling, rounding. As you make your way back into a cow posture, arching your back, curling your toes under, and make your way into a really soft downward dog. Yogi's choice, lifting your right leg if you wish. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, stepping your right foot forward between your hands, and bring your left knee down to the ground. You can stay right here, or bring your hands to your right thigh. When you think of kind of drawing your tailbone towards your pubic bone, and reaching your arms either out to the sides or lengthening up. You can interlace your thumbs, bringing your palms together and extending up and back, lengthen away from your lower back, continuing to draw your tail toward your pubic bone. With your next exhalation, bring your hands back down. You can come back to all fours or simply make your way back into a soft downward dog. Yogi's choice, lifting your left leg. And when you're ready, stepping your left foot forward. If it gets stuck, help it through. Bring your right knee down to the ground. And again, fingertips can stay either side of your left foot or bringing your hands to your thigh. Careful not to arch too much into your lower back. So drawing your tail towards your pubic bone helps to kind of auto-correct that. You can bring your arms out to your sides or lengthening all of the way up. Possibly interlacing your thumbs. Bring your palms toward each other and reach up and back. With your next exhalation, bring your hands down and make your way back into a soft downward dog. Yogi's choice again, lifting your right leg, and this time stepping your right foot forward to the outside of your right hand. Bring your left knee down to the ground. Remember to pat underneath of it if you need to. If you have the space to come down onto your forearms, take a moment to do so. And we're just going to take a few breaths here. As you inhale, curl and round into yourself. And as you exhale, drawing the top of your sternum forward, away from your belly button. 2 more just like that. Inhaling, curling into yourself. And exhaling, drawing through the crown of your head, sternum away from your belly. 1 more time. Drawing forward. And coming back to your hands. Making your way back into a soft downward dog. Yogi's choice, lifting your left leg if you wish. And stepping your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand. Bring your right knee down to the ground. Again, if you have the space in your body, possibly coming down to your forearms. And if not, don't worry about it. As you inhale, curling in. As you exhale, soften through the front of your thigh. Draw your sternum away from your belly. Again, inhaling, curling in. And exhaling, lengthening forward. One more time. Making your way back into a nice soft downward dog. And keeping your knees slightly bent so you can focus on the line from your wrist to your shoulders to your hips. Lifting your right leg if you wish. And with your next exhalation, step your right foot forward to the outside of your right hand again. Walk your left foot back as far as you can and bring your left knee down to the ground. You can stay right here or possibly come onto your forearms. And you can stay right here or drop your right knee to the right side and just let weight and gravity help it out. Don't try to force it or push it or pull it. Keep your sternum drawing away from your belly, letting the weight of your leg take you into this stretch. And again, you can stay right here or root down into your left hand or left arm. Bend your left knee, keeping your ankle in line with your knee so it doesn't torque, and reaching back with your hand. If you can take hold of it with your hand or a strap, then you gently press your foot away from you as you draw it in towards you. Looking over the edge of your shoulder. Take one more full breath here. And then releasing and making your way back into a soft downward dog. Yogi's choice, lifting your left leg if you wish. And stepping your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand. Walk your right foot back as far as you can and then bring your right knee back down. You can stay right here or possibly come down onto your forearms. And again, you can stay right here or drop your left knee out to the left side. Softening through the front of your right thigh. And you can stay right here if you wish to build on it a little bit. Root down into your right hand or forearm, bending your right knee. Keep your ankle in line with your knee. See if you can reach back and catch hold. If you can't, just fake it. Otherwise, catch hold of your ankle with your hand or your strap and draw your foot in towards your buttocks as you let your left knee drop away. Look over your left shoulder. Keep breathing. And release. You can make your way back into a nice soft downward dog or a nice gentle child's pose. I'm just taking a couple of releasing breaths here. I have a technical difficulty. Hold on. There we go. And another one. Okay, from child's pose or downward dog. If you're in down dog, make your way into a child's pose. And then coming into a seated position. We're going to come into simple Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. And I want you to hold on to the edges of your ankles. Use them kind of as an anchor to help you lift and open up through the top of your chest, spreading your inner thighs apart, outer edges of your thighs down toward the ground. And I want you just to start to rock a little bit back and forth. You can even start to roll a little bit with your rocking. And if you're rolling, make sure you roll the other way. There we go. Just getting sits bones a little bit more deeply situated. You can hold on to your ankles or the front of your feet, or even peel the inner edges of your feet apart. Again, lengthen with your inhalation. And as you exhale, hinge forward from your hip crease, keeping that long line through your spine for as long as you possibly can. When you begin to kind of feel a bit of resistance, see if you can press down into the bottom edges of your feet as if you're pressing yourself back a little bit. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, allowing yourself to curl into the posture. You can bring your elbows up and around your inner thighs, or even walk your hands forward if that feels like it helps you create a little bit more space. Taking one more full breath here. And gently contracting your abdominal wall and slowly drawing all of the way back up. And bring your hands behind you, your feet just wider than hip distance apart, and gently sway your knees back and forth. When you're ready, lengthen your right leg out and bring your left foot in towards your groin. So if you need to, if your left knee is above your hip line, take a block or a blanket even, your socks will do. Kind of lift your knee a little bit higher and then slide your support underneath of it so your leg can rest. Otherwise, just release. You can bring your hands either side of you, coming up to the tips of your fingers, bending your elbows back slightly and drawing your inner elbows toward each other. And you're just going to start to paint circles with your right ankle, inhaling in one direction and exhaling in the other. Take 2 more full breaths, inhaling circles in one direction and then exhaling in the other. And inhale, scrunch your toes up as tightly as you can. And as you exhale, see if you can yawn them open. Monkey toes. 2 more times. Inhale, scrunching your foot in. And exhaling, opening up your toes. 1 last time, scrunching your toes in. And exhale, yawning them open. And just gently shake your foot out in place. You can bring your fingertips either side of your right leg, or if you prefer, bring your strap in, right around the ball of your foot. Walking your hands up your strap so you can feel your arms engaged in the work of drawing the top of your foot back towards your shin, or holding on to your calf or your ankle. Lengthen with an inhalation, and as you exhale, hinge forward. And don't feel like you have to bring your nose right down to your knee. You don't. Right? All we're doing is looking to find length in the back line of the body, calves, hamstrings, glutes, your back, but without strain. So if you start to feel this really deeply in your lower back off of the stretch and look after you, please. Lengthening with your inhalations and exhaling, extending possibly a little bit more deeply. If your strap feels like it's in the way, bring your hands in and bring your left hand just a little bit further than your right. And take 3 more sweet, deep breaths here. At the end of your third breath, leading with your left arm, you can either bring your left hand down beside you and lengthen your right arm up toward the ceiling and up and over your right ear. Alternately, if you want to move a little bit more deeply, bring your left hand directly behind your left buttock so it's actually touching. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, lift up and over, bringing your left hip above your left knee. And again, if you feel like you've got a little bit more space and your back feels strong, lengthen away from your lower back. Bring your right arm out to the side as if you're lifting the top of your chest up toward the ceiling. When you're ready, coming all of the way back down and switching sides. So again, right foot in towards your groin, left leg out. You can support underneath of your right hip if you need to. And you bring your fingertips just behind your hips, kind of coming up like this, onto the tips of your fingers. Draw your inner elbows toward each other. And when you're ready, inhaling, painting circles with your left toes. And as you exhale, turn your circle in the other direction. 2 more full breaths. Inhaling circles one direction and exhaling circles the other direction. And as you come back to center after your third breath, inhale, scrunch your toes in like crazy. And then exhale, see if you can yawn them open. Monkey toes. Again, inhale, squeeze your toes in. And exhale, spread them apart. And one more time. In deeply. And all the way out. And you can bring your fingertips either side of your left leg, or even take hold of your calf, or bring your strap around the bottom of your left foot. Yogi's choice. What feels best for you? When you're ready, lengthen with an inhalation. And as you exhale, extend forward fold. And even pausing kind of at that first place where you begin to feel more sensation. Don't feel like you have to rush past it. You can use your inhalation to lengthen a little bit more, tailbone to crown, and your exhalation to extend. You move your right hand just a little bit further down your strap, or even take hold of your ankle or the bottom of your foot, and then bring your left hand in. Lengthen with an inhalation. As you exhale, extending as far as feels comfortable for you. Take 2 more full breaths here. And slowly drawing all of the way back up. Again, you can place your right hand in line with your right hip, lengthening your left arm up and extending over your left ear. Alternately, place your right hand directly behind your buttocks, so it's actually pedestaling the side of your body. And when you're ready with an exhalation, lifting up and over onto your knee, you're going to draw your tailbone towards your pubic bone. Lengthen away from your lower back. Lift up out of your right shoulder and possibly reach your left arm way out to the side. And when you're ready, drawing your buttocks back down to the ground. And bringing your legs together. Take a chunk of your buttocks very gently and move it away from your sits bones. Bringing your fingertips either side of your legs and firming down into the length of your legs. Press through your heels, drawing back through the tops of your feet. If this is a good enough stretch for you, stay right here. Otherwise, lengthen with your inhalation, and as you exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hip crease, possibly walking your fingertips a little bit further out. If you're able to comfortably catch hold of the bottoms of your feet, do so. Lengthening again with an inhalation as you exhale. Extend. Drawing the crown of your head forward away from your tail. Again, if you feel this in your lower back very deeply, bend your knees a little bit and take some of the pressure off. Taking one more full breath here. As you come back up, and lengthen your arms up and bring your hands directly behind you, finger pointing toward your buttocks or turn to the outside edge. First time out here, you're going to bend your knees and bring your feet about hip distance apart from each other, lifting and opening up through the top of your chest. And again, you can stay right here, or if you wish, anchor deeply down into your feet and begin to lift your buttocks up off of the floor, coming into a reverse table pose. You can squeeze your buttocks a little bit, see if you can lift your hips up a little bit higher. Keep your gaze toward the ceiling. Take one more full breath, and then slowly lower your buttocks back down to the ground. Lengthen your legs out in front of you. Again, just take a small chunk of your buttocks away from your sits bones. If your back is tender, keep your hands close to your thighs. Otherwise, lengthen your arms upward. And as you exhale, lift up and extend forward. You can bring your strap in, again, to the bottoms of your feet, or catch hold of the outer edges of your feet. Pike forward with an inhalation. And as you exhale, extend, forward fold. Take 3 full breaths here. At the end of your 3rd breath, slowly drawing up, lengthen your arms upward. Bring your hands behind you. Again, setting up for reverse table with your knees bent and feet to the ground. Or if you wish for a bit more of a challenge, keep your legs lengthened all of the way out. With your next exhalation, lift your buttocks up off of the ground. See if you can draw your toes down toward the ground in the full version here. You can squeeze your buttocks a little bit. See if you can lift a little bit higher. And then draw your buttocks back down to the ground. Coming back into just a comfortable seated position if you wish. Or taking it up a step. You can bring your left foot to your buttock and cross your right foot to the outside of your left thigh. If you're able to do that fairly easily, see if you can bring your right knee on top of your left knee. And if that's fairly easy, you can begin to bring the front of your shins forward. You want to make sure that your hips are sitting comfortably, spine feels long, and your breath feels easy. You're going to lengthen your arms out to the sides. Lengthening your left arm way up toward the ceiling. And turn your right palm toward the back of your mat or the room, wherever it is. So your thumb is facing down. You're going to reach your right arm up behind your body. You can even help it out a little bit. Just careful not to force it. And then lengthening your left arm up, reach as high as you can, and bring your left hand down to meet your right. You can take hold of your hand or your shirt, or even gently bring your left hand to the back of your skull if your hands don't meet. Take a couple breaths into those places that you feel. And if you're in the deeper version of this, and you want to take it a little bit differently, you lengthen with your inhalation, and as you exhale, begin to hinge and extend forward slightly. Take one more breath, and then releasing, and just roll your shoulders back and down. Switching sides. Again, you can stay uncomfortable seated, or bring your right foot to your left buttock, left foot to the outside of your right thigh, and if it makes it really easily, and stack your left knee on top of your right. You might be able to bring your shins toward the front of your mat. Lengthening right arm up toward the ceiling and left arm out to the side. Turn your thumb facing down on your left arm and reach way behind you. Bring your left arm up through the center of your back. Reach your right arm up. And again, bring your right hand down to meet your left. You can catch hold of your hand or your shirt, or gently lifting up through the back of your skull, or just fake it. Lengthen with an inhalation, and if you wish to take this a little differently, hinge forward. One more breath. And slowly drawing all of the way back up. And again, roll your shoulders back and down a couple of times. And when you make your way into your most comfortable seated position again, and placing your hands on your thighs, with an exhalation, just let your right ear drop towards your right shoulder. Let both of your shoulders rest down. Take one more releasing breath here. Making your way back up to center. And with your next exhalation, drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. And again, just take a nice deep releasing, sighing breath. Let your head be really heavy. Making your way back into your center line, and with an exhalation, turn to look over your right shoulder. Look in the same direction as your peripheral vision. And as you inhale, drawing forward, and exhaling, looking over your left shoulder. And drawing forward. And just drawing nice big figure eights with your nose. As if you're watching a fly around the room. Notice which way your figure eights are going, and then switch the direction. And you just want kind of a gentle lulling, like you're a bobblehead, kind of a feeling. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right thigh and lengthen your right arm up. Bring your right hand directly behind your back. Walk it in as close as you can. Lengthen with an inhalation, and as you exhale, turn to look over your right shoulder. You want to gently press your right thigh away from you as you gently try to draw it towards you with your left hand. Take one more full exhalation. Follow your exhalation all of the way out. And then drawing forward. Feels like we need a forward fold here. Staying comfortable seated and just walking your hands forward. You can bring your elbows down to the ground possibly and rest your chin in your hands. or stack your hands one on top of the other, allowing your head to rest down. If you can allow your head to come down to the ground without your buttocks leaving the floor, go for it. Take one more just letting go breath here. And slowly coming all of the way back up again. And take hold of the outside of your left thigh. So it's like a dual action. I should have said that before. Where you're pressing your left thigh down and away from you as you try to draw it towards you with your right hand at the same time. Lengthening your left arm up with an inhalation. And as you exhale, bring your hand behind you. Again, lengthen with your inhalation. And exhale, turning to look over your left shoulder. Keep pressing your left thigh down and away from you as you try to draw it towards you with your right hand, if that makes sense in your body. Take one more full breath here. And slowly drawing all of the way forward again. You bend your knees, placing your feet on the ground. You can bring your hands behind your thighs. Or if you want a little bit more work, bring your hands either side of your legs. And slowly lower all of the way down to the ground. You bring your knees in towards your belly. And just bringing your hands either to the tops of your kneecaps or the outer edges of your thighs. Just take a couple of little hip circles here, ironing out your lower back. And then send them the other direction if you haven't already. As you come back into your center line, keep your right knee drawn in towards your belly and bring your left foot down to the ground. If your back feels strong, you can lengthen your left leg passively all the way out to the floor. Keeping your right thigh drawn into the lower right side of your abdominal wall. And again, you can bring your hands behind your thigh and your knee, if your knee is more sensitive, or hands to the front of your shin. And you take 3 really deep breaths, focusing on bringing your breath down as deep down into your lungs as you possibly can. And as you exhale, gently apply just a little bit more pressure as if you're pressing that air out of your lungs. Inhaling, your thigh will just naturally start to move away from your belly. And as you exhale, draw it back in. One more time. Rebending your left knee and bring your left knee back in to meet your right. Release your right foot down to the ground and possibly lengthen your right leg passively out to the floor. Drawing your left thigh in as close to the lower left side of your abdominal wall as you can. And take 3 giant breaths here. Follow each of your exhalations out as if you're squeezing the air out of your lungs. Last one here. And then bringing your right knee in to meet your left again. Take 3 deep full breaths in Apanasana. One more full deep breath, squeezing your thighs in as deeply towards your belly as you can. And releasing your feet down to the ground one at a time. Keep your heels as directly underneath of your knees as you can. Knees and feet about hip distance apart. And bring your arms down beside your body. Keeping the back of your neck long. When you're ready, tilt your pubic bone up and begin to lift your hips up and away from the ground. You can press down into the length of your arms here. Again, imagine drawing your tailbone towards your pubic bone. Lift your hips up a little bit higher. You can peel your toes away from the ground
to shift your weight a little bit more deeply into the balls and the heels of your feet, and then bring them back down without gripping. Take one more full breath here, and then just slowly and sweetly lowering all of the way down to the ground. You can just gently let your knees sway in the wind for a moment. We're now coming to the end of practice, and I'll lead you through a short guided relaxation. Make sure that you are comfortable and warm. You can stay here on your back, even keeping your knees bent. Walk your feet toward the outer edges of your mat and let your knees gently come toward each other. I find if your lower back is a little tight, you can even lift your buttocks a little bit and bring your lower back more deeply in contact with the ground from there. And alternately coming into a full Shavasana. And take up as much space as you can. And take up as much space as you have. And just starting to settle in a little bit. I want you to take a moment to let go of your practice breath completely. No longer changing it or fixing it or moving it. Just letting your breath settle back into your body and your body settle back into space. With your eyes closed or gently focused, take a moment to scan your body, just noticing if you are holding on or holding tight anywhere, consciously or unconsciously. At the back of your head, grow really heavy. And just separating your lower jaw slightly from your upper jaw. And smiling your eyebrows open. And the weight of your shoulders drop heavy. And your arms be soft. Let go of any holding in your belly and in your back. And with each exhalation, just letting your buttocks and your legs grow really heavy down into the ground. And let go of any holding in your feet, in your hands. And just allowing your body to rest for a few moments here. Letting each breath just take you a little bit more deeply into a softer space. Knowing that not doing anything at all is the best thing that you can do for yourself sometimes. If you notice any tension start to come back up again, take your breath to kind of visit that space, just like it's softening it, lightening the load a little bit. And just really sweetly here, beginning to deepen your breath. And if you prefer, you can stay in relaxation for a little bit. Maybe even come into legs up the wall if you need some more downtime. And otherwise, just slowly beginning to re-engage into your body, kind of wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can turn your head from one side to the other, gently and lovingly and willingly reawakening your body.
And when you're ready, slowly roll onto your side, making your way back into a comfortable, seated, and meditative position for a few moments. You can either close your eyes or just draw your gaze softly to a place on the floor in front of you. I just finished reading this awesome kids book called Ugly, written by a teenager, actually. He wanted to tell people about what it means to grow up, looking and feeling different. And the more people that I spend time with, the more I realize most of us feel that we're different somehow. And we are. We're unique. And our differences make us shine, but they also sometimes make us question ourselves. And that's okay too. He says, few people know what the bigger picture of their life is going to look like while they're living it. I certainly didn't when I was growing up. I questioned a lot of my choices and often wondered if I had done the right thing. The answers only seem obvious when you get to the end of the book, when you turn the last page and the puzzle suddenly looks complete. Life is not a book, though. If you're different from the other kids, other people, don't worry about the jigsaw puzzle. Don't judge yourself by everyone else's seemingly beautiful picture. And don't worry if your final picture doesn't seem clear or if the edges around your story don't seem sharp. It might become clear later. Maybe it will remain entirely random until the very last piece slots into place, when everything becomes beautifully obvious. Or maybe the puzzle pieces won't ever seem to entirely fit together at all. And all of that's okay. None of us knows which bits of our lives will slot nicely together while we are living them. We are all a bit worried sometimes and confused at other times, even if our books make our lives seem magical. The solution is simple. Be unafraid of living. The puzzle pieces will take care of themselves. Thank you so much for joining me. It was our first time together here trying this out. I'd love to hear from you and see how your practice went. Tried to give you as short and sweet and comprehensive a practice as possible in my slightly smaller space. So stay warm and cozy and safe, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow in studio for classes. Have a great night. Namaste.